Hi everyone. I just wanted to give you a brief overview of what we've done so far and take a look at week 1. So I'm going to go into our course here, and every week I'm going to post an announcement, so make sure you start your week by taking a look at the announcements, and that should be your first step each week. And so for week 1, that is what you're going to be graded upon. So I would always take a look at this table, and I'll have one for each week. So the first thing for week 1 is the Find It quiz. That's worth 10 points, and then the policy and requirements agreement. And that you should find under your quizzes and exams. And so you would go in there and just complete those two quizzes. All right, so that takes care of these two. For the Chapter 1, creating a pictures folder on OneDrive, you'll get the instructions for it under the, if you go into the assignments each week, and that's where you get the PDF files where you could take a step-by-step instruction of what you have to do. But essentially, let me show you what it would look like here. I'm going to log into my OneDrive account. And I just created a picture, a folder called Pictures, but essentially you have to create a folder. I called mine Toronto 2015, and that's what you have to share with me, right? So you would have something, you would right-click, and you can share, and you could either you can manage permissions here. Okay, but so you're essentially sending me an email, and inside this folder there should be 5 pictures, and they should each have a caption underneath. So make sure you add the caption. Okay, so I've got 5 pictures. But you're not sharing these individually. You're really going to this folder, whatever you called it, and you're sharing it through here. Right, so you could email me a link, and then you would just type in my email address, stuccinardi@wccnet.edu. You can include a personal message and make sure this one, they only want you to give me viewing rights. And then you would just send me, and then I would receive the email. All right, so that takes care of the creating pictures folder on the OneDrive. That's worth 21 points. Now, whenever you're doing the assignments, make sure, so here, okay, so I'm under the assignment link, okay, and there I got the email for my shared that I just shared. So make sure for all the assignments, click on this, on the header, and always view the rubric, because this is how I'm going to be grading it. So new sub-picture folder created on OneDrive and titled appropriately. I uploaded 5 images. I put a picture caption in each one. Correct sub-picture folder shared with the instructor, meaning the subfolder was this one under Toronto, mine was called Toronto 2015. Okay, and then instructor granted read-only rights instead of edit rights. And then at the end you have to add a comment to Blackboard to activate this rubric so I can actually use the rubric. And what that means is, I'm going to go back one just to review it. Okay, so you're in chapter 1, creating picture folder. You got it all done. So you have to go in here and then just write a note basically saying, I have shared my photos with you. Okay, and then you just submit it. And that is basically what they mean by activating the Blackboard. And you're going to do it every week, so that, because if you don't do this, then I can't grade the assignment through the rubric. So this just activates the rubric for me on my end. But make sure for each assignment, take a look at the rubric, because that's exactly how I'm grading it. All right, so that is Chapter 1, creating the pictures, and then Chapter 1, creating a BOS class notebook. So this is the notebook that you're going to use. Now for this one, right, I make sure that you're doing it within Microsoft OneNote. All right, because that makes it easier. So I've created, now these are all students who have shared their notebook with me, so you won't see this, but you should see yours. And so I'll just pick a student. So what you should have after week 1 is you have a class creation. Now what's going to happen under this one is all the assignments you're going to share with everybody is initially going to be created here, and then I'm going to show you how you would kind of move it to the shared folder. All right, so yours will look, let's see if I've got at the end of it, see my class creation. So in week 2, we're going to have like an introduction. So we're going to each post an introduction, but this page cannot be seen by everybody at this point. I'm going to have to move it to this shared, this is the shared folder that I created in which everybody's going to be able to see this. So you're going to have it in 2 places. The class creation will be here, the introduction, right? But then you can always grab this and you can copy it, go up here, and then you could always go into the introduction, and I could always paste it here if I want. Okay, I'll delete that now because I already have it. So see, I've got my introduction, and I posted it, and I added a page, and then I made sure with this page I right-clicked and I made it a subpage, so it's kind of indented. Diana did the same thing, and you could add comments. So I read Diana's introduction, and I kind of just asked her, Diana, what middle school do you teach at? My son's going to Slauson next year. All right, and so all class members, so you should have your introduction posted, and then you should have a page as a subpage saying comments for, and put your name down there, and we can comment each other. All right, so so once, then let's go through each of these. Then you're going to have a communication page, and Diana is going to put this kind of table in here, and she's kind of been organizing your files or your folders in alphabetical order if you haven't done so. But you could put a comment in here and we'll be able to see it. All right, so that's a quick way that you can communicate with your instructor. But usually I ask students to just email me, because that's the quickest way for me to respond, because I'm always checking my email. Then you'll have, for week 1, you'll have to create a Microsoft OneDrive folder. You won't put anything in it for now. We will throughout the weeks. Then you've got Microsoft OneNote, and then we'll have a student checklist, and Diana's added this page to most of you, and what's nice about it is you can check off all the work that you've done. Now, some of this stuff you may already know, so you don't have to complete it. The key for the course will always be, this is the only stuff that's graded. Okay, so some students just want to focus on what's graded, but these are all the tasks that will kind of teach you about OneNote and OneDrive. All right, so that's for week 1. After you were done done with this, you'd have to right-click it and then share this notebook. Now this time, right, you have to put in my email, and this time you got to make sure that I can edit it, because I want to go in there and I want to be able to, you know, to change things if something's off and be able to tell you. And I'm, you know, and then you just click share. It's going to send me, you can write a note. This is my share. This is my notebook for the course. And then you can share it. And that sends me an email, and then I'm able to view your notebooks, and that's why I've got all these notebooks here, because I'm able, all these students have shared it with me. All right, so essentially what you should have all this. You should have a notebook called BOS 106/ and your full name, right? And you should receive at the beginning, and there's the email that I just sent myself. And then you should have access to the shared notebook. And we're going to keep on adding. If you want to see what it's going to look like at the end, let me show you last semester's. So we're going to see here, we just have a Chapter 2 introduction. We have the help page, and this is just for your knowledge. If you have questions, I still think, you know, email me to make sure, because that's the easiest way to reach me. But you've got these pages, but here are our assignments. So Chapter 2, well, the whole class can see. Here you're sharing with everybody. Now make sure you've got edit rights to this, so be careful not to delete anything, because we're all able to access this. But just to give you an idea of what it's going to look like at the end of the course, this was our last semester. So we're going to have all our assignments in here. So see, Chapter 2, or Week 2, we have introductions, and look, we have all the students, and they all made kind of comments to one another, and you have to add 5 comments for the week. That's part of the rubric, which I'll show you. Then, you know, Week 3, we'll kind of post our dream job. Then we'll do some photo editing, and every week we'll always be doing the same thing. You'll be putting the assignment in there, and then always you're going to be adding a comments page so that people can add comments. The photo editing and the picture collage is a really fun thing. So see, this one is another one. I put a little comment, and then again a comment, and then other students will comment on it. Then we'll have a travel link, you know, Week 6, and then Week 9, well, Chapter 9, Chapter 10, and see, every time you're always going to be posting the assignments in there. All right, so this is, and we're gonna later on, I will show you that we're gonna have a group assignment that we'll have in here, and you know, I'll assign you to groups, and it's not that big a group project, but there's a couple weeks where you'll be adding. So this we can all see. And that's why I kind of will call it, you know, online shared, you know, summer or whatever semester you're in. And then we're going to have finally a notebook showcase at the end where you're going to kind of pick a topic, and we're all going to you'll be putting your link, and you know, but that's later on in the course. All right, so for Week 1, that's basically, and you've got to take that over OneDrive quiz, and again, all the quizzes will be under quizzes and exams. Now the find a quiz and the policies is right off, but each week's quizzes will be underneath the quiz area. So there's the OneDrive quiz, and you can take it. And that will be worth 10 points. All right, so the biggie for Week 1 is 39 points. All right, so for Week 2, right, you're going to be doing an intro page. Okay, so now you should have that intro page in our shared folder. All right, so I added mine already, Diana added hers, and Chris has added his. And remember to add the comments page, but you should also have it in my own personal folder, which only you have access, and you're sharing it with me or any of your instructors. It should be in the class creation page first. So initially create it there, right, under your own notebook. Nobody's able to see it, because then you can edit it, and once you're ready for it, then you can copy it. Right-click, copy, bring it to the top here, and then right-click and add it. Okay, and if it doesn't work, you can make it, promote it to a sub-page, you can promote it to a sub-page, you can play around with it, and then you can delete it because it doesn't work. All right, so all your class creations, dream job, photo editing, it's all going to first be created here, and then you're going to right-click, you're going to copy it and bring it to the shared folder, and I'm going to create the folders each week, like Chapter 3, Chapter 4, and so forth. All right, so you can have access to that. All right, so that's the intro page. That's worth 30 points. Now, if the Chapter 2 pause and practice exercise, you're kind of merging files into this OneDrive section. So you've created this OneDrive, and what you're doing is you're going to merge the files here, and the files you're going to find are under the learning modules, and it's a little tricky. So let me just show you. So under week 2, all right, and this is kind of like the lecture of the class, and you can go through, and it teaches you how to merge sections, but these are the 2 files that you're merging. Okay, so what you could do, now these are actual OneNote files, so you could right-click and save link as if you want, or you can click it. And depending on your browser, right, so I'm just going to open this up in OneNote. Now when you open it in OneNote, it goes into the open section. It doesn't really go where I really need it to go, because I need it to go into the OneDrive folder. But you can always go in here, you can, all right, so you can look at this and then see your open section. You could right-click on this and see this merge into another section. So you can merge it into another section. Now I've got a lot of notebooks. You should not have a lot of notebooks. You should just have a couple. I can move it into, I'm going to just pick Samantha's just because it's kind of clear, and then you would, they want it into OneDrive, and then you merge it. Right? And then it's going to ask you, do you really want to merge it? Yes, and there it is. And then just delete any untitled page. And there's your Chapter 1. Right? And they want you to do that with this one as well. So again, you can right-click. Another way is save it as a link. And then it's going to say, okay, where do you want to save it on your computer? And I'm going to just save it. As long as you know where you're going to save it. I have this folder called Java, that thing, and then you could double click it if you want, and again it'll open it up in this open section, and then you would right click again and say, look, I want to merge it, and then find the right one, and then merge it. Right? And the instructions for it are here as well. So it says save, then merge Chapter 1 into your Microsoft OneDrive section and save. Then merge Chapter 2 into the OneNote. Sorry, I did it both under the OneDrive. So this one is OneNote, and this one. So you can always move it if you make a mistake. You just go back and say, okay, I want to move it to the OneNote. So it's not, even if you make a mistake, it's not like, right? And then always delete the untitled. And now I will delete this so I can so Samantha can actually do it. And that is what they're referring to here, the pause and practice. That's what you're merging. And then you're going into chapter 2 under quizzes, and you're doing your quiz. All right, so you're going under quizzes, chapter 2, and finishing your quiz. All right, so make sure you're going under learning modules, and it's these two files that you're merging. That's what you're doing for the pause and practice. Okay, and remember, for each assignment, if you go into the assignment, right, and here's the pause and practice, and you're going to have to click on this. And then they're going to want you to add files to it, or you could add your comment, completed task. But look at the rubric all the time, because each assignment has a rubric, and so just make sure you've done this, right? Prior to the due date, Chapter 1 merged correctly into Microsoft OneDrive. Okay, then this one, Chapter 2, merged into Microsoft OneNote, right? And then added comment in the Blackboard, meaning here, you just say, look, I completed it. That's all you need to do. If you do these 3 things, then you've got full points. All right, so remember to do it. And same thing with the other assignment, your introduction, right? Go into introduction, and then look at the rubric, because this one at the end says comments added to at least 5 classmates. So you've got to go in here in the shared folder, right? Not your personal one, but the one we all have access to, and you got to add 5 comments to it. So this would be my first comment of 5. All right, and then make sure you include a design template, page title, introduction, student name, and make sure you meet all these requirements. Okay, and the instructions for it will be here. There's the PDF file if you want to cancel that, and that kind of guides you through it so you can kind of complete your task. All right, so that's an overview. Really use this sheet, the graded assignments by week, which you can always find. Let me show it under the syllabus and schedule. And this is the graded assignments by week. So this is where you can get this document. So you're making sure that these are the only graded assignments for week 2 and week 1. So if you tackle them one by one, and these are the due dates, they may be different. I'm going to use this video for several semesters, I'm sure, so yours might be different, but just focus on when things are due. And if you've got any questions along the way, just shoot me an email. All right, so hopefully you found this helpful, and I will see you in the classroom.